Hi, we're from ADP. My name's Mackenzie.
Nick.
How are you?
I'm Conor.
How are you? I'm Dr. Dino Page.
I'm Ellen.
And I'm John Smith, the executive assistant.
Great. Well, do you folks still have 10-15 minutes to meet with us today?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. Well, do you mind if we take notes?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, great.
Before we get things started, can we actually exchange business cards?
Sure.
First and foremost. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, sir.
No problem. All right. So we would like to get to know a little bit about the background of your business. Is this your only location?
No, we actually have a second location at Peachtree City that employs another 14 staff members in addition to the 20 that we have here at the Newman office.
We were unaware of the second location, but past those two locations, is there any projected expansion plan?
Assuming everything stays on track, we intend on adding another 5 employees to the Peachtree City office and then constructing a brand new office in Tyler in the next couple of years.
Okay, so based off that, you employ about 45 people at the moment, but within the next couple of years, that number could increase to around the, say, 6 people mark, correct?
Assuming the third office is open, yes, we need roughly 20 workers in each location, so you are correct.
Well, as we said, we are from ADP. Are you aware of what we do and who we are?
Somewhat.
Well, we are a software company that specializes in payroll solutions for startup businesses and small businesses. We are currently using a mobile system called Run ADP that can be used on any tablet or mobile device. And this application is to eliminate a lot of the headaches and time consumption that managing your own payroll system individually tends to cause.
Well, we definitely have a lot of those headaches, especially in the payroll category.
So please tell us, who does your payroll for your business?
I am single-handedly responsible for all the payroll-related tasks.
Would you consider this a part-time job or a full-time job?
Well, I started doing this payroll when we first opened on a part-time basis, but as the business has expanded and taken on a growing number of employees, the payroll tasks have consumed a lot of my time, and have basically pushed it to a full-time occupation. We've actually considered hiring an individual strictly to manage the payroll, so I can have some time of that I am losing back.
Wow, well that's just another expense to add to your list. Do you think that would affect your plans of expansion?
If we need to add another individual, it would definitely put a damper on our time frame we set for expansion. It definitely wouldn't simplify it.
We understand, and I'm assuming when you first took the workload, you were only at one location?
You're correct. We initially only had the Newman office.
Okay, so if you don't mind me asking, do you guys have any kids?
Yes, we have 2 children, both under the age of 10.
So there's another issue. The time you could be spending with your children is being used to keep the payroll at your business in line. Do you mind us asking which software you're currently using?
Not at all. The software is called Microsoft Dynamics.
Oh, yeah, we are familiar with that software. Do you mind, or do you know how costly the product initially was and what it costs to upkeep?
Initially, I'm not certain we paid for the product, but every year we have spent about $1,500 to upgrade the software to remain current.
Wow, that's a lot for a small business owner. Every little bit counts when you're not a big corporation. Now, tell us, is this software easy to learn? Do you have to enter the information in manually, or is the process automated?
It is entered manually.
The software is easy to get a hang of. It just doesn't do a lot of the things we would like it to be able to do. And the worst part is the amount of time it takes to do such a simple task because typing everything manually.
Okay. So you mentioned the amount of time that it takes. Roughly, how much time does it take you, Alan, each pay period to do payroll?
Well, I'd say it takes roughly about 3 minutes to total each time card, and then another hour to key in the payroll to the system. After that process of cutting and stuffing checks takes another 2 hours for all the employees.
Yeah, because it takes so much time to keep it updated. We don't do it as often as we'd like. So when someone calls in, we are forced to make a calculation on the fly.
Well, that's a lot of work for one woman. So all in all, it takes you about 5 hours to do just the payroll every other week.
Yes, I would say that is definitely in the ballpark.
Okay, so if we multiply that number by 26, that definitely is a big chunk of your time. Now, that number, 5 hours, that's assuming everything goes perfect and smoothly. Do you ever face any problems while you're carrying out these processes?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, every pay period, there's roughly 4 to 5 problems with the checks that require us to void them and then recalculate the proper amount or correct the error we've made.
Okay. Have any of your employees complained about this? That could definitely affect employee morale if they feel like they're not getting compensated correctly every pay period.
There have been complaints, but we always correct the checks and give them what they earned. We don't just want the employees to have to be concerned over whether the checks are correct or not with the current system that we obviously have. We can't do that.
Right, we understand. So now, assuming you didn't have to deal with the payroll anymore, how would you reallocate all that time that you guys would now have?
Well, I would take advantage of the free time and spend it with our kids.
And I would focus on growing our business as a whole and not just dealing with the payroll process.
We see. So back to the software. How does it handle paid time off?
That's an easy question. It doesn't handle it at all.
If that's the case, how do you handle your paid time off?
Well, we use another Microsoft program, Microsoft Excel, and we'll go in and sum the number of hours each employee has in paid time off based on their seniority within the company.
And when are employees able to view that?
Every other month, we go in and update everyone's PTO balance and then send out a report once the numbers have been summed up.
Every other month? That's not very frequent. We can imagine you have a lot of employees calling in to inquire about how much paid time they have more frequently than every 2 months.
Yeah, because it takes so much time to keep it updated, we don't do it as often as we'd like. So when someone calls, we are forced to make a calculation on the fly.
We imagine there are some errors with a method like that. Have you ever messed up the calculation by a few hours or so?
On occasion, yes, but the main problem is employees using their PTO before they've actually earned it, and then something happens that they're terminated or leave the business, and we end up eating the money that we've already paid them for PTO, which they don't earn yet.
We can imagine that adds up as well. More money that goes down the drain. Now, with your current system, are you able to generate all the reports you'd like to be able to?
Not necessarily. All the reports we generate are very simple, and a lot of extra calculations and work are needed if we wanted the reports that are actually useful to us.
We see. Now let me address the issue of taxes. Do you handle tax deposits, Ellen? The W-2s and quarterly fillings? And have you ever had any problems doing so?
Yes, I do handle all those, and we were actually tragically penalized one time 4 years ago for late reporting, and we were forced to pay a hefty fine.
Okay, Dr. Page. Now, from what we've gathered, we understand the majority of the problems you are facing is time consumption. But at the same time, you are enduring a lack of simplicity in your system, a loss of money due to errors from the system, cutting and stuffing checks, and a great deal of stress on your wife with increasing amount of responsibility she's taking on. Would you be interested if we told you that we had a system that could alleviate all these problems?
Of course, as we expand, the work is just going to increase more and more.
Well, firstly, to address the issue of payroll, we understand, Ellen, that you are taking a great deal of your time calculating time cards, keying in the data, and then cutting and stuffing checks. With ADP, which is an online-based system, it allows your payroll to be automatically calculated anytime and anywhere. As mentioned earlier, the Run mobile app, you can just take it on your mobile phone or an iPad, whichever with you. The payroll cards can be sent directly to our people at ADP, and your payroll will be automatically calculated and viewed at any time, taking a lot of responsibility off your hands. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, that sounds fantastic. I couldn't imagine anything better. I would love all that extra time that I could spend with my children at home.
Now, we remember that you had mentioned expansion earlier in our conversation. With our software, we eliminate all the sifting through resumes. We do pre-screening and background checks for you based on specialized hiring criteria you create so that only the employees that best fit the criteria you detailed are shown to you. Does that sound beneficial?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let us get into tax services of ADP. What our tax service does is automatically calculate each tax for you. We know all federal, state, local jurisdictions and regulations, which we know has been proven to hard to keep up with. Also, instead of paying one large sum of tax, we allocate the costs over the year, so you're not hit real hard with a big amount come up within a short amount of time.
All this sounds great, but may I address a few of my concerns?
Of course, go right ahead, Dr. Page.
A number of my colleagues who run their individual practices have mentioned that the customer service for ADP wasn't the greatest. How do I know that I will receive good service and won't be treated as just another account?
Well, Dr. Page, Ellen, and Mr. Smith, within the last 5 years, we have fixed out a great deal of the kinks and problems in our customer service department. So basically, our customer retention rate has jumped to over 90%, and we now ensure that the client is the most important priority to us. If need be, we could arrange a meeting with a current client for them to explain what they think of our current customer service performance, if that would suit you.
I may just take you up on that. Additionally, I'm hesitant to commit because you mentioned the entire system is automated. Ellen, how do you feel about that? You're not the most technological savvy person.
You're right. It does make me quite nervous because a lot of this will be completely new to me.
The great news is that ADP offers an entire implementation team. So basically, when you sign up for the system, we have an entire team that comes in and walks you through the ins and outs of the entire system. And we also offer various demos of the software after the initial walkthrough with our team. If you still feel uneasy on how to carry out specific tasks.
I can actually show you all a quick demo of this app we have on our mobile devices. This is app right here on ADP. Just click the app. It shows you resume, weekly payroll, what's new, quick links. At the bottom, you can go to your payroll, whatever payroll you have in progress, so you're editing, or depending on the client. New, start weekly, a list of your employees. If we actually click on an employee here, you can click on Matthews. It shows contact info, emergency contacts, payroll info, pay rate info, and related documents. Here are any reports, so your reports like payroll liability, payroll summary. And for more, you have human resources, if you need any help, info, and you can log out the app.
That all looks very nice. But lastly, there's the issue of cost. How much would a product like that cost to me?
Well, we don't have an exact quote with us at this time, but we can assure you, based on the numbers that you've run by us today, the software we offer will cut your costs virtually in half. In addition, ADP has been shown to free up 60% of a worker's time, which can then be reallocated to other business-related tasks, which can then increase your profit rather than calculating payroll and other miscellaneous tasks.
I would look forward to getting that exact quote from you, from your software sometime.
Well, we understand that you're a very busy man, so we'll let you go at this time. But how would you like to arrange a second meeting in the near future and further discuss the more specifics to ADP?
That sounds great. I'll have to meet with my secretary and arrange a second meeting next week.
Great, we'll do just that. Thank you, Dr. Page.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.